How tall am I? I'm 6 foot.
Oh man, homie's really insecure, but that's not surprising, man. A lot of meatheads like him are insecure, you know. Got body dysmorphia problems and anger issues like he's got, and drug abuse issues, which I'm sure he probably does, you know. So obviously he's probably insecure about his height because he's not considered tall for a man. I think the average male height is like 5'9" or 5'10", so he's actually below the average male height. So sorry, brother.
Black Cadillac roof, black Cadillac gon' rattle that roof. I'm really that dude, black Cadillac deuce. Hop out the map, black all black crew, my black Cadillac.
Hey, welcome back to another video by Honestly Speaking. That's me. I'm Honestly, and I am speaking. That's what I'm doing. This video is by Patrick CC. Okay, Patrick CC is my boy right here. This guy drops some really fire videos. Very well created. Very well.
Damn.
What's the word I'm looking for? It's curated. Very well curated. Damn. They're very well done. And this one is the pathetic life of an internet alpha male. And I find this topic cool. Not gonna lie. These internet alpha males are just one big joke to me. Every time one pops up, bullshit. They do not live up to what they try and preach, you know. And it's not like everything they're saying is bad either. Some of the things they say is good, you know, like being consistent in the gym, in health and life, and working hard, and you know, building self-esteem and confidence, and you know, and if you're interested in women, not building your life up in a certain position just for women but for yourself. These kind of things all make sense. But then when you see these guys and they're, you know, it comes out in their personal life, it's like, oh man, here we go again, another whack, you know, wannabe alpha male. And even the term alpha male is just so stupid. It's lame. It's lame. I never liked the term alpha male. It's lame. But let's jump on into the video and let's see what's popping up.
Most young men turned to the internet looking for role models and instead found a cesspool of self-proclaimed alpha males ready to exploit them. These gurus preach confidence and discipline, but the deeper you look, the clearer it becomes that their lives are nothing like what they sell. Behind the tough guy personas are men drowning in insecurity, fraud, lies, and desperation. Some of these guys claim to have the highest IQ on the planet, and others literally admit to doing meth to look.
Okay, so I've seen some of these guys before here, right? I know Clavicular, and I don't know him, but I've seen him on the internet. I did a video on him. He does a looks max, and he'd be punching himself in the face and doing all kinds of weird shit that is nothing I would consider masculine at all. Excuse me. I mean, the guy takes meth to keep his weight in a range that he likes it at. Like, it's meth, just a little meth. Weird.
More attractive. Today we're discussing the most notorious ones, starting with King Azulai, the alpha who pled guilty to sexual contact with a 15-year-old girl. Ben Azulai essentially looked at Andrew Tate and said, I can do the same thing, only Ben has less charisma and it is way less convincing when he lies, because his origin story is almost certainly completely made up. According to Ben, his mother came to America through the Mexican border to give birth to him. He spent his early childhood going between America and his mother's home country of Israel before permanently settling in the...
All right, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm actually going to skip this guy. I never heard of him before, and he does look like the generic alpha male meathead macho man, and looks like he just had a shady background for sure, doing some probably nefarious things and tried to cover it up with overcorrecting with being the super masculine male. I find these guys who go so far into masculinity, it's like you're hiding something. You've gone too far, buddy. You've gone way too far. Now people are questioning it, you know? Let's do Wes Watson, because he's a fucking meathead. And he's funny to me because he's like... It makes me... It's like a weird anomaly. It's like, how do you even get here being the way you are, you know? Let's jump to Wes Watson here.
Like Wes Watson, who was once seen as the example of how an ex-convict can truly turn their life around, to now facing charges that could land him back behind bars.
Yeah, I think he beat the hell
When
out
Wes
of somebody.
Watson first started posting content back in 2019, his videos mainly focused on his time spent in federal prison. Wes claims that he started selling weed during his teenage years and was making up to $40,000 a week. Although Wes has given various different versions of this story, so that's just a rough estimate.
At 11, I just started hustling. By the time I was 16, I went and bought a truck at like a lifted Z71 cash, like 50 grand. I had hundreds of thousands of dollars at 15, 16. I started smoking weed at like 13 or 12. By the time I was 14 or 15, the natural progression was to start slanging.
And despite selling what he describes as a large amount of product, he managed to avoid the law for a long time. That was until a fateful night in November of 2009 where Wes physically assaulted a man after a drug deal that had gone wrong. Notably, Wes was not actually involved in the deal itself, but rather serving as more of a low-level grunt called in after the deal fell through. Not exactly the hotshot king
Meathead was just the muscle.
pin he claims he was. What is true is that Wes spent nearly a decade in prison, and stories he told from his time locked up brought him almost immediate success on YouTube. In under half a year since his first upload, Wes was already able to get 250,000 subscribers. And during the pandemic, Wes had a unique opportunity and began creating more motivational content to help people increase their mental fortitude and physical fitness while trapped at home. This is when Wes began offering what he describes as self-mastery programs, which sought to teach.
Of course, and then here comes the course, right? That's all these guys do. They push this self-help, build yourself into the man you want to be, get chicks, get money, get paid, and I'll teach you all the methods. I have the universal method for all you mooks out there, all you simps and incels. I got you. Buy my course at some probably ridiculous amount of money.
Young men how to hone in their physical strength, business capabilities, and mindset. Thanks to programs like this, Wes claims that he now makes an average of $3 million per month.
Like, you don't make $1 million a month. You make a third of what I make a month. If you make $1 million a month, I can't respect someone who's doing a third of me financially. I can respect the guy whose yacht is in 300 million. He murdered me. I have to understand what he did.
Although we have no way to verify how much money he was actually making, what I can say for sure is any businessman who was making $3 million per month would absolutely respect and listen to the advice of another businessman who was making $1 million per month.
Right? This is how you know he's just yapping, man. I have my own business, and I've talked to guys who I know are making far more money than me, but they are interested. Like, how'd you do that? How'd you make that? Doing that like that? Oh, they're fascinated. It's just what happens. It's like you're a business owner. You're curious as how people manage to do the same like you, but differently.
Despite his arrogance, Wes was relatively respected in the early days of his content creation career. His videos served as a cautionary tale of just how...
Well, homie needs to really stay off the steroids, though. Look at all the veiny shit. This guy looks like he's about to bust a fucking blood vessel, man. Chill out, bro.
Brutal and unforgiving spending time in federal prison can be. Wes sold himself as a man who learned from his mistakes and was trying to teach other people lessons that he had to learn the hard way. In particular, Wes has claimed that his anger issues were the catalyst for many of his problems.
My biggest vice is anger. I have a problem with it. It's the biggest battle of my life. These vices hold us from everything, all our dreams, everything we could ever possibly just gather up and love for our lives. Our vices are holding us from it.
Of course, Wes put on the persona that he was a changed man, and now found...
You know what I mean about these guys, man? Is that they talk the right game, though, but
healthy ways to deal with his anger.
I don't fall victim to my old vices, the drugs, the negative shit, the anger. I don't fall victim to it.
Liar. He's a liar. He's lying. Look at him. Look at the anger in his eyes. He's so mad. When he's talking to you, spit is just...
No more. I've done so good on my anger lately, too. I'm so proud of it. You guys, you have to drop all this shit and not drag your family through the mud.
But this didn't seem to be the case, as conflicts in his personal life made it to the public eye, and they showed that Wes hadn't really changed at all, particularly when Valerie Watson, Wes's now ex-wife, posted a video to social media accusing her husband of both physical and emotional abuse.
I literally have held my tongue for way too long to protect him.
Yo. I want to be polite. His wife is a little scary.
Not happening anymore. He's physically hurt me so many times that it's unforgivable. And I do have a video of Wes charging at me and has put like a knife to my face and literally have told me, like, has threatened to kill me.
Valerie also specifically emphasizes that the person
It's all them steroids, man. Look at this shit, man. Look at the whole boy, man. The whole boy's wilding, man. That's the kind of guy
West portrays himself to be online is a lie, and that he did not follow the same rules and principles he promoted to his audience. She also included pictures of her bloodied hand and bruised arms, implying that Wes had directly caused the injuries. Then again, it is possible that he had a jealous ex who was just trying to make up stories because he was becoming successful and popular online. That is for sure what Wes's fanbase thought, which is why this wasn't the final nail in the coffin for his career. And over the next few years, more information would come out about Wes that essentially proved to his detractors that his whole life was a hoax. His mega mansion, which he claimed to have purchased, was not actually his. The property was listed for rent at $65,000 a month in October of 2022, and the listing was removed a month later in November, right before he uploaded his vlog showing off the property. His Bugatti Chiron, he also...
Hey, yo, if he's able to afford $65,000 a month rent, yo, my boy is doing something right. So he's scamming hardcore. Is that a Bugatti in the back? Never buy those. You guys are fucking loaded. Don't buy a
does not
Bugatti.
own. Even his
But damn.
girlfriends, and I'm not joking, are literally rented. Wes was exposed for hiring a female escort for $200 an hour and pretending that she was his actual girlfriend. His house is rented, his cars are rented, and even his girlfriends are rented, which doesn't mean that he is secretly broke. It's just clear he isn't exactly the business mogul he claims to be. If Wes had taken the money he's been wasting on overpriced cars and homes for Instagram and actually invested it, he could have actually owned real assets by now. A large property, maybe.
Man, flexing is a disease. I swear, flexing is a disease, man. It just when it just gets you, it got you, bro. So you got all these like $1 million worth of cars in your driveway. It's like, oh, go buy some houses, go buy some stocks, something, build a business, something.
Maybe not
that.
supercars, but still expensive luxury cars.
Like you need like one sick ass car.
But he didn't do that because Wes is creating the illusion of success.
Sorry, I keep pausing it. Yo, homie's pants too tight, my guy.
Expensive luxury cars. But he didn't
Way too tight. Look at that shit. That's some skin tight, man. Where you put your Johnson and something
do
like
that because Wes is
Pause.
creating the
Go ahead.
illusion of success to sell more courses and coaching to people who don't understand what real success is, which is, I have to admit, ironically a good business strategy. The problem is this relies on the customer lacking intelligence and desperately wanting a role model, and thus paying a con artist with deep insecurities. He even lies about his height. Despite being listed as 5'8" in court documents, Wes gets furious when anyone suggests he's shorter than 6 feet tall.
How tall am I? I'm 6 foot.
Oh man, homie's really insecure, but that's not surprising, man. A lot of meatheads like him are insecure, you know. Got body dysmorphia problems and anger issues like he's got, and drug abuse issues, which I'm sure he probably does, you know. So obviously he's probably insecure about his height because he's not considered tall for a man. I think the average male height is like 5'9" or 5'10", so he's actually below the average male height. So sorry, brother.
When we went into medical, when I was booked, I was 6 foot 252. And I said, why the f does my paperwork say 5'8", 230? That's the eyeball of the arresting officer.
To make matters worse, he literally uses special insoles to boost
Oh, that's embarrassing.
his height, and he does a terrible job at hiding it. Wes has such a hard time keeping track of his lies that the alpha womanizer admitted to being bisexual during an interview.
I was in a Q&A on the way here. Someone said, skinny or thick chicks? I'm like, I like them skinny thick. You know, what the f you mean? Like, everything's like that for me. They're like, are you straight or are you this? I'm everything. I'm not just one or the other.
And despite portraying himself as a stoic yet intense tough guy who learned from his mistakes and can now control his anger, Wes's temper was completely out of control.
Sorry, it's a little late, but I think homie spent a little too much time in the bin talking about I like everything. Whoa, we know what goes on outside there. Little backplay, huh?
Violently threatening anyone who had a different opinion than him.
Oh, I remember this
Are you
clip.
saying that your Bugatti and your money and everything
If
else
they
is
saw me
worth more
standing
than your
there, they'd be
children?
like, my dad's a superhero. Look what he brought to the table.
I don't like this guy here very much. I'm not into his content and the way he speaks and the way how he deals with debating. And he's also a liar, Mr. Andrew Wilson. He's another one of these internet fibbers out here who be preaching some shit that he's not really about and tries to present himself as being this philosophical man, like he knows it all, and he really doesn't. He doesn't.
Look how hard this guy works. He came from nothing to this.
Yeah.
He works. God damn it.
You're still whining. Stop whining
That
and
is
just
a
make an
product.
argument.
I'll smack your fat ass.
So you're gonna
Look
let's
at
just-
your goddamn self.
Okay,
Guys,
well,
guys,
I've never
guys,
seen such a
scoot,
pathetic motherfucker.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
chill
come
out a
on.
little bit, man, a little bit.
This is
Come on,
not
come
what
on,
men
come on.
look like.
Let's let him
What do they
finish
look
his
like?
point.
This is embarrassing. Imagine actually having like a whole, not performance, but an event for you and your, I guess, alpha male presenting men, or whatever you guys want to call yourselves here. And then you guys have some infighting with your two babbling gaboons here, just yapping at each other, talking about my car and look how you look and this, that is a Bugatti. Why are you guys fighting amongst each other? This is embarrassing.
What do they look like? Bald prisoners?
Like many of these alpha males, Wes also had a habit of challenging other men to fights whenever he felt slighted by them, leading up to an altercation that would change his life forever. Now, the nature of this video is extremely graphic and cannot be shown on YouTube, but footage of Wes violently beating up another man would be leaked by John Bravo, in which we can see Wes hit the man with a weightlifting belt, then him and his friends pin the man down and endlessly hurl punches at his head and even kick him in the face.
Whoa, this guy's got a weight in his hand. That's crazy. This guy's beat him with a weight?
Multiple times.
Them roids, man.
The man in question would press charges, leading Wes to be arrested for felony assault and battery. He is now facing up to 25 years in prison. Ironically, Wes is now right back where he started, and potentially may find himself behind bars once again. Recently, he has restricted or completely disabled his comment sections on all of his social media accounts, going to show just how fragile his ego really is. Worst of all, his reputation is so destroyed that the only people who are willing to collaborate with him are people like Jack Doherty and the Island Boys. Wes is a perfect example of someone who would have greatly benefited from following his own advice, just like the Liver King, who had a psychotic meltdown after being exposed for not living the lifestyle.
All right, we're gonna skip the Liver King here. I don't care about the Liver King. This guy is a freak show. Another guy who would pretend to be all this. I think I know the Liver King enough. It's the guy who took the storm during COVID. This primal diet, eating raw meat, testicles, and working out, and it just turned out the guy was just a meathead on a whole buttload of steroids. And it's like, I don't know who these guys think they're fooling, but you're only fooling kids, when you got a body that looks like this. Whereas, let me see, look at, he's trying to pretend like he's not on roids. It's like, buddy, you're on roids, man. You don't get a body like that, like this. Look at this. You don't get a body like that and not be on steroids. So it's like, you're only fooling kids, because any man is not going to be dumb enough, or at least hopefully not stupid enough, to think that this guy is living a primal diet and I'm just jacked. You know what a primal diet would be? Okay, primal's diet would probably be them eating every once a fucking week. Eating scraps and tiny little pieces of food and storing it to last when they need it. So he's just another liar, and he went crazy too. I'm gonna skip over to clavicular, this part here. Then maybe if we got some time, I'm at like 17 minutes right now. I'm gonna do the clavicular, because clavicular is someone who I just seen the other day. So clavicular is this looks maxing guru, where he maximizes, or he teaches men how to maximize their looks, I guess. It's really weird. I'm not into any of this fucking shit, man.
Like
It's bizarre.
Clavicular, the teenage gym bro who literally does meth to maintain his appearance. Most internet alphas tend to focus on the importance of financial enrichment and physical prowess. But let's be honest, the reason why young men want to improve themselves a lot of the times is to get girls. 19-year-old Braden Peters, aka Clavicular, has leaned into this particular aspect of self-improvement, promoting what many refer to as looks maxing. Looks maxing aims to improve one's appearance to its ultimate potential. This can involve very harmless acts like getting a good haircut and having a skincare routine or dressing well. However, individuals like Clavicular take it to a much more extreme level. He promotes a plethora of different methods to improve your looks that are extremely dangerous, such as bone smashing.
I've been bone smashing for about 2 years, and I have gotten improvements. I used to have flat zygotes pretty much, but bone smash for about 2 years from this point, pretty much every day consistently, and now I'm got some tissue.
As insane as doing something like this is, it pales in comparison
Literally gives me
to the
anxiety.
other advice he
Literally.
gives, like the usage of literal meth to keep his face slim.
I was essentially doing meth for hollow cheeks, guys. I just to come clean and let you know what I was doing.
And this is only
Wanting to look good should never go this far where you're gonna take meth to keep your face looking chiseled, huh? Just seek help.
only one
Get
of the
help.
many various substances he uses to maximize his appearance, such as minoxidil for hair growth, Accutane for clear skin, and of course, testosterone injections for extra gains in the gym. Substances that will likely cause immense problems for him later in the future.
I was just thinking that. When he becomes like, I'm 33, when he gets to my age, you're gonna be cooked, man. I hope, like, if you want children, that you have no problems. But the way you're going, you're gonna have problems. Having children. If you're taking testosterone at your age, what are you, like 22,
People
24,
are asking,
25?
Are you going to be infertile? Do you worry about having children?
So right now, I am infertile.
But he does this for one simple reason. Clavicular believes that your appearance is everything, and that the more attractive you are, the better your life will be. He takes this mentality so far that he views getting a $35,000 jaw surgery as an investment that will pay itself off.
I'm really just talking about a purely logical return on investment. I see myself, I'm like, well, what am I? My face, I am a social media influencer, right? So if I spend this amount of money on a double jaw surgery, right, it's gonna cost me about 30 grand to do the surgery. Will this pay itself off if all goes well? And I'm saying overwhelmingly yes.
Through his personal coaching program, he sells young, insecure men on the hope that they can one day surpass their genetic limits, which he
Starting to notice a trend. All these guys are taking advantage of young, impressionable men who, I guess, obviously need some sort of guidance or an adult to mentor them to they don't end up following freak shows and weirdos like this. Like, it's
refers
pathetic.
to as ascending. This course includes things like a full facial analysis, a full-blown gym routine, and a list of different supplements to help improve your image. The only problem is this does not sound like an effective way to remedy someone's insecurities. In fact, these things have only the potential to make them worse. Clavicular uses his own ascension as a testimonial that his system of looks maxing truly works, although many have taken note of the fact that most of his physical improvements are simply the byproduct of growing up. Before.
Yo, right? It's like he started doing this weird stuff so young. It's like, buddy, it's like you still didn't hit puberty yet. It really just looks like 2 years of puberty, right? It's like you started doing too much stuff
really
too
just
young,
looks
man.
like 2 years
It's
of puberty.
weird.
Bro grew up. The reality is
Hilarious.
that Clavicular is completely delusional, but in an ironic sense, he is undoubtedly the most honest person in this entire video, as he is extremely aware of the negative ramifications of his usage.
Wait, why are you infertile right now?
Just like a negative feedback loop when you're not needing to produce testosterone anymore because your body realizes, okay, we're getting it from an exogenous
So you're not producing
source.
any testosterone naturally?
No.
None?
No.
Oh,
That's
I'm
how
not
it
taking
works.
TRT, bro.
How do you think it works? You just don't, your body realizes we're at a certain level we don't need anymore, so it stops producing it.
The reason why he is on this journey is because
He's
he
right.
believes
Spot.
that he is
He's right. Spot on. That's how your body works in general with most things that your body naturally produces. If you introduce an exterior replacement or even like an exterior booster and you take it overboard, yeah, your body's gonna just say, "Don't need it. I don't need to do this anymore." Your brain, all it wants to do is just save energy. Yeah. So if you said you're not gonna take it, I don't need to produce testosterone anymore because I'm just gonna take these needles. You're gonna say, "Good. Maybe I'll give resources elsewhere or just save them."
is genetically disadvantaged and has only made himself ascend to a slightly above average appearance.
These people, these looks max creators, we're all genetically gifted. They don't really understand, how it is to grow up not exactly good looking. People are placing me high tier normie as a little bit above average, between a 6 to a 6.5 on an actual decile scale that makes sense.
According to Clavicular himself, both of his parents are bodybuilders, and he began taking testosterone at only 14 years old to achieve a larger physique. So it's likely that from a young age he derived self-worth from physical appearance and has developed extremely severe body and facial dysmorphia.
Let me tell you something about bodybuilders, man. They have some of the worst body dysmorphia problems ever, man. They're super self-absorbed. Some of them, not all of them, but I have noticed that there's some sort of body dysmorphia thing with bodybuilders, that they just feel like they're just never big enough. And some of these people look like straight something out of a comic book, man. It's like huge, dribbling. It's like, what the hell? It's like, you're huge, man. No, I still need to get... I'm just not there yet.
dysmorphia as a result.
I was on a little bit of everything, to be honest, growing up. Test at 14.
How do you even get testosterone at 14?
I just ordered it on the internet.
He has even directly acknowledged that he is actively shortening his lifespan for the sake of looks.
It is very likely that some of my lifespan will be diminished with the things that I'm doing. I don't believe that's from some of the steroids, but maybe some of the recreational drugs in conjunction with the steroids. So that's a very real possibility.
As sad as this is, it does not absolve him from personal responsibility. His program currently has over 1.4 thousand active members, each paying $50 a month to take part. This coaching program has grown exponentially.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to do a little bit of pocket watching right now. What is that? Is it paying monthly? Let's do the quick math on that. Let's see. You said that's 1.4, so 1,500 times 15. Wow. Whoa. That's a lot of cake, guys. That's 70 G's a month. Whew.
In recent weeks, most notably because of a viral clip of him injecting fat-dissolving peptides into his 17-year-old girlfriend's face on stream. Other clips show him casually picking up girls and even criticizing their facial flaws while meeting them.
Oh yeah, so you have like a recessed maxilla, so I can't. And, like your upper jaw, it's just a little recessed, so I can't. I mean, you know what I mean?
Are you looking at me? I don't know what that means.
I'm trying to can you explain to me what is
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like a developmental flaw. It's no worries.
Clips like
developmental flaw. It's okay. It's cool. Don't worry.
these only feed into the persona that Clavicular is trying to create, where he is an unstoppable and irresistible specimen who has achieved his power through looks maxing. And it's working, because his audience nor his customers see him as deeply insecure. And he continues to take advantage of his impressionable audience, much like Marquette Burton, who has created an entire red pill cult that is surprisingly working. On the surface, Marquette...
Whoa, we're talking about Marquette right now? That's crazy. I actually watched Marquette. Saint and Sinner? Oh, shit. I gotta see this one. I actually watched Marquette. I feel like the guy is he's very well spoken and seems to be an intellectual. But
aka the Saint and the Sinner, seems like just another run-of-the-mill internet alpha male. He sells courses, portrays himself as a business genius, and bashes women on podcasts.
Would you feel comfortable if your father was watching your OnlyFans and subscribing to it?
Probably not, no.
You would not feel comfortable, and I'll tell you why. That's because in your heart of hearts, in your soul, if you still got one, you know it's wrong. And I'll give you an example. That's your work. In my work, if my mother consumed my work, I'd be thankful and pleased that she took an interest in my work and supported my work. If she bought my products, I'd be thankful. If your mother or father bought your products, you'd be disgusted and ashamed because you know what you're doing is wrong and the product of what you're doing is bad.
Of course, he also has the tendency...
He's not wrong, right? Like, now, some people might say the way he's talking to her is harsh. Sure. But what he's saying is not wrong. You're doing OnlyFans. You're making adult content. I'm not too sure how many parents are really going to be proud of their kids, doing this freaking spread eagle on camera, while dudes are at home gooning to them. Gooning is the right term, right? See, like, use that young term. Y'all kids be using gooning, I was just going to say beating their meat, That's what they're doing. And it's like, there's nothing to be proud of. And so,
to fabricate every aspect of his life, lying about being a multimillionaire thanks to his background in application development. Although when you take a look at his resume, it's clear that he is not nearly as wealthy as he claims to be. In 2012, he launched his first company, Hobby Buddy, a social media platform that connected local strangers to help plan in-person activities. Hobby Buddy's website remained dormant for over 6 years, promoting the eventual release of a mobile app that would never see the light of day. His next business venture was called the Fletch app, a mobile application that gave universities the power to track student attendance. Marquette hoped to sell licenses to colleges in need of the service, although this effort failed, and the application has been defunct for over 5 years. He later shifted his focus to Why Not, a mobile application that was essentially a Craigslist for Wi-Fi hotspots. Despite Why Not's failure, Marquette landed himself an article in Forbes for his work on the application, which in reality is just a puff piece paid for by Marquette himself. His last major endeavor was an app called My Key, which was basically just a glorified geotag that never went anywhere. Now, I'm not coming at Marquette for failing. It is extremely difficult to start a successful business, and if anything, his persistence is admirable. But Marquette pretends that these failed businesses were actually huge successes, and claims they helped him become a self-made millionaire with a net worth of $100 million. But it's very obvious that he is nowhere near
if this is true, what I'm learning about Marquette right now, this is say the least, disappointing, if this is true. I like Patrick's videos, and I find they are quite well done. So this is slightly concerning, you know?
That kind of wealth. In 2020, Marquette was featured in an article discussing his involvement in the SEA program, which offered aspiring entrepreneurs a $50,000 investment to relocate to Erie, Pennsylvania. Despite claiming to be massively successful, Marquette was willing to move states just to keep his business afloat. Once again, I respect the hustle, but it's hard to imagine a multimillionaire would move to Erie, Pennsylvania to do something like this. It's also hard to imagine that someone of this status would spend their time arguing with women on podcasts, selling self-improvement courses, and streaming multiple times a week to a small audience. Marquette goes to extreme lengths to portray himself as much more than just a glorified red pill live streamer, going as far as creating a fake BBC documentary about himself.
The Kenyans literally rolled out the red carpet for Mr. Burton's arrival. He is an enigmatic figure, a businessman, and a boxer, an author, a stoic, and a poet.
He originally had this YouTube video titled as BBC coverage or BBC Emerging World Leaders Profile, and then they made him change the title because obviously it's not a BBC thing.
Just about every internet alpha male portrays themselves as high-status individuals, imparting their wisdom on their lowly followers. But Marquette has created a full-blown cult. The Assassin follows an ideology called Marquettism, which is essentially a religion based around men being...
He does talk about Marquettism. I hear him say it in his videos. I just ignore it because it's like, I'm not into it. You know, it's like if you're so lost, you need to follow somebody's thing like that, then okay, you got some problems. But it's not for me. But I mean, the guy still does talk intellectually, but it sounds like he's failed quite a bit in his businesses. So that's fine. You know, people fail, but the lying part is what's getting me, you know, the deceit.
Alphas and women being second-class citizens. Nearly every element of the Assassin follows classic cult structure. It starts with rituals and traditions, mandatory greetings, group chants, and repeated creeds.
So at a meal, tradition starts with this question: what is one thing you are thankful for? I am the... Okay. Always greet fellow saints warmly, especially new saints. Okay. And gatherings with for the good of the assassin. Okay, weird way to do things. Closed lecture and workouts with the creed of the assassin.
Okay. All of which exist to reinforce belonging and suppress individuality. The two ideals.
I will say a lot of young men have a struggle with feeling like they belong. You know, so I can see why something like this would pop out for young men to want to join because they want the camaraderie, they want brotherhood.
Make the group identity your primary identity, explicitly replacing race, nationality, and even standard family structure with loyalty to the organization. This ideology also lays out different levels of existence: confirmed saints, good people, and the wicked, all of which ties into the cult's fundamental rule system, what Marquette calls the 3-sentence Bible.
Number 1, be yourself. Number 2, be good to yourself. Number 3, be good to good people.
From there, it establishes a strict hierarchy where one man...
I mean, that's pretty solid, right? That's pretty solid.
Sits at the top, and everyone else, especially women, is assigned to a rigid, subservient role. The rules for women read less like relationship guidance and more like obedience training. Don't speak while thinking. Don't interrupt peace. Cook every 4 hours. Manage his food. Manage his house. Manage his schedule. But never question him. And most importantly, the system positions the outside world as the wicked, while members become saints, creating an us versus them mentality that isolates followers, making the group the only place where they feel understood, valued, or
I think that's a bit too far. Chill out.
Or morally superior.
It's a bit strong there. You act like this is some huge cult leader. You know, there's much worse cults out there like Christianity. You know, that's a huge fucking cult. Sorry, guys. I'm just saying, it's a big cult. You know, you guys use that to whip slaves into. You know, anyways, where am I going?
And of course, there's a direct correlation with...
I don't think this guy has really got like this huge cult going on. You know, it's like, okay, chill, bro.
Moving up in the ranks and how much money you give to Marquette, whether it be through his business coaching courses or ticket sales for in real life events. I also find it hilarious that a single woman is only required to pay $200 and a single man has to pay 3 times as much at $600, because it's hard to see why any single woman would enter a room full of people that believe in Marquettism. Yet despite the insanely high price of these tickets, Marquette manages to convince a surprising amount of people that they are well worth it, and watching them all speak in a circle gives strong cult vibes.
For the good of the assassin.
For the good of assassin.
For the good of the assassin. For the good of the assassin.
For the good of the assassin.
For the good of the assassin.
For the good of the assassin. For the good of the assassin.
For the good of the assassin.
For the good of the assassin.
Typically when internet alpha males sell courses online, they do it solely for the chance to make some easy cash, but Marquette seems to be attracted to something much more sinister: power and control. He is driven by his own self-obsession and desire to be worshipped, with the potential income only being part of his true motives. He's trying to sell people on a worldview that ties back to himself and his excellence. A lot of what Marquette is doing seems to be taken out of the playbook of Andrew Tate, and a few years ago I made this experimental video where I compared him to a cult leader. It's pretty different than what I normally would put out, but it is really interesting. I encourage you to check it out. A generation.
Okay, that was interesting. That was a lot. I didn't expect Marquette there at the end. I actually consumed some of Marquette's content. I am by no means have joined any of his groups or memberships. I'm actually a terrible consumer. I'm really hard to actually sell things to, so you're not going to get me to buy much. But I didn't know he was like that. I mean, if what he's saying is true, it's very disappointing, but also very on brand with most of these guys who are online doing this alpha milling type deal. But what I watch of Marquette's content there is that more of his debates he has online with people about men and women, which is some of the stuff the guy was saying. He's like, well, I've actually seen his debates. He's pretty reasonable, you know. He's not like some of like these crazy red pillars who are like the fresh and fits of you know, where it's hard to really understand what they're saying. If you don't have enough information yourself, it's a little hard to really see between the rage with those guys. But not everything they see is complete ass, you know. And with Marquette there, he's a good debater. I find the guy, I've seen quite a lot of videos and spoken with people who are intellectual. The guy is absolutely a smart guy. That goes without saying. His the way he recounts information and he gives the information, it's well done. It's well done, and he's very knowledgeable. I mean, I feel like I'm glazing a bit, but I just feel like that was just a bit surprising. Caught me off guard. It's like, well, now I have to go and analyze who he really is, because I don't want to even give the plays or the views to a person who is moving too shady. You know, I'm not into that kind of thing. Not into it at all. But anyways, guys, that's the video. The video is about these fake alpha males out here who are always out there trying to one up you. So you're a young guy watching these videos, don't fall for these guys' traps. Most of them are pretty phony. So what you could do, and here's a recommendation, is that a lot of times their advice that they're giving you isn't actually false. It's just that they don't practice it themselves. So don't become like a follower of this person. Just take what he's saying and be like, okay, does that make sense in my life? Like if let's say you're watching some sort of red pill content and they're like, you need to hit the gym 5 times a week, at least bare minimum 2 hours, and then you need to start developing 2 businesses. Okay, if that feels like something you can do and that will benefit your life, do it. That's what you need in your life then. You know, because that's not even necessarily a bad thing. I just came right off the dome, right? So some of these guys who come with this advice and stuff, how to even deal with women, like, you know, build yourself and the woman will come. Yeah, I agree, you know. There's still a little more that comes with it. But yeah, that's the basics. Sure, you gotta get confidence first before you can really go out there and get these sorties and these alpha males. All these guys looks maxing. It's like, how are you guys taking these guys as like actual, like real deal serious guys? Look at the West King Azula. I don't know who he is. Wes Watson. Like, who's really following these guys is like the pinnacle of an example of who you'd want to be as a man, you know, like Liver King. That's why these guys came and gone, right? They're phonies. They don't last long because they're phonies. They're fake. They're not real. They're make-a-believe. And they just take on a persona because they could have never been that in their true life. Now, I think what an alpha male is, I don't really mess with these terms, but if I'm going to think of alpha male, it's like, to me, it's like a man that is living out to the true male experience. Okay, he's gotten women, he knows how to dress, he's got his own business, or he's got a good paying job, he's got a wife, he's got kids, he got a home. car, whip, this, that. Okay, that's living that. He's living the alpha male lifestyle. He's got the whole shebang ski, right? Anyways, guys, I'm done. That's it for the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let me know how I did in the video. Let me know what you guys think.
Black Cadillac,